Welcome to the Las Vegasville podcast, brought to you by Jump Studios, where we cover topics related to everything happening around Sin City, including the social media scene, food, and a whole lot more, with some of the best, most popular accounts around the city, and talk about their success in Vegas and beyond. I'm your host, Philip Zhang, aka Las Vegas Phil. Check me out on IG or TikTok, and feel free to text or leave me a voicemail at 702-551-4445. On with the show. Welcome to this week's show with over 230K subs on YouTube, 67K on Facebook, 28K on IG, 17K followers on TikTok, about 5,000 on Twitter. Travel Ruby has been turning people on to everything around Vegas, from her legendary room reviews, amazing and super helpful lists, to the buffet features all the tourists want, and crazy fun slot streams as well. From her first video back in August of 2019, Ruby has come a long way and has established herself as a trusted authority on all things Vegas. She calls it like she sees it, and it's honest, no bullshit reviews, and that's what viewers like me really appreciate, and that's just one of several reasons why it has gone off like it has. Super thrilled to chat with her in this episode. Welcome, Travel Ruby, to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. Thank you. You got all my stats out there. I was like, I don't even know how many I have on Twitter or especially TikTok. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked.
I mean, that's my job. I got to do the deep dive.
Yeah, you're like, I was like, I only know like my one number pretty much, the YouTube number.
Oh, really? That should have been the questions at the end. How many followers under?
I actually don't know. That's the truth.
So aside from YouTube, what is the second most paid attention app?
Facebook is definitely where we're focusing monetarily.
Yeah.
As far as monetization, it's awesome. As far as where you can actually speak to me, find me, that's going to probably be on Instagram. That's where I'm just kind of like living daily life. I've never been very strong on social media. That's never been my game, which is funny now, ironic.
Right.
But I always understood Instagram. I was like, pictures. I was like, I like this. This is just pictures. So I was active on that before I had a platform, so I still kind of carried that over now. I'm not active on any of my personal platforms anymore, though. Now doing this for a living, I logged off of all of my, personal stuff. I don't use it ever because it's I'm on Instagram for work, so...
Why are you going to post?
Yeah, I just don't find myself personally posting. So Instagram is where, although it's getting to the point where I'm having a little trouble keeping up, because I used to encourage people, if you have a question, message me on Instagram. That's where you can get me. You can get me on Instagram. I'm having trouble keeping up lately. The
DM's got to be crazy. All the recommendations you have to give.
Every day. It was at one point I know there was maybe 100 a day, and I was trying to answer those, and then it just exploded, and I start to lose. Once there's a lineup, I start to get overwhelmed, and I'm like, I can't possibly answer all these. I would say if people can just keep it real short, give me your one question, because sometimes I'll get, can you give me this, and I'm like,
oh, come on.
I can't do all that for you. I'm sorry, but I if you give me a quick one answer, if I haven't answered it in a video, I do try to answer as best I can. I try.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point, is I'm trying to help people, but it's getting a little overwhelming.
Totally. I get the same thing now, and I started making those guides on IG, and then one of my friends was telling me she has just a Yelp list of all these kinds of things. She just sends them the link. Yeah,
so sometimes if I've covered it in a video and I will send a link to a video, or I'll be check out these 3 videos, maybe that'll help you, but usually if I have a recommendation, I've made a video on it at this point, unless it's something very niche or small. And usually anytime I get a consistent question over and over again, I'm like, I need to make a video covering something like this. I was getting the same question over and over again about what do you do with your luggage if you can't check in, enough that I'm like, I need to include that in a video. Yeah, they didn't realize that the hotel will take your bags.
Yeah.
It's, you have to understand that some people just, one, I don't think some people don't travel very much. And two, I don't know how it is in a lot of other countries. I'm not really sure, but they didn't know, will they hold my bags? Yeah, they'll hold your bags. But I got that question enough that I'm like, I put that in a note, people have this question. I get a lot of questions about tipping because American tipping is bizarre.
It is
so
bizarre,
that's another thing in my list. It's tipping. Let's explain tipping, because especially Vegas and the tipping culture here, it's really good to help people out with those. So stay tuned for those, because there's a list of stuff that I'm going to be covering really soon. Another list.
That's great. And but the fact that they're asking you kind of what we consider basic questions means they really, you've inspired them to look into traveling and getting out of their house. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, when the thing that's about this channel is that like in no way, shape, or form did I think this was going to be a channel. Like if you were to look at that first video, that was intended to be a standalone video that I was just making out of the blue. In 2017 is when my husband and I first started coming to Las Vegas, like traveling to Vegas, and we were coming like every couple months because we got those bounce back offers and they were like incredible at the time. And if you gambled just a little, you were like getting all these comps. So we would keep coming back. I would keep bringing friends and planning a bunch of trips. Planning trips is like one of my favorite things ever. I love to plan a trip. And I like to look at like, what are all the things I can do and where can I go? And when I first YouTubed Vegas in 2017, I'm telling you, you know how many vloggers there are now? There were like 2.
Yeah.
There were 2 guys doing it, and like they weren't covering like where can I go to get a cute beverage? Like I want a cute drink, and like where can I go for restaurants? And they weren't covering all these things that I wanted covered. No one was talking about the pools. Who has the best pool? Like I want to know these things, and they weren't getting covered. And so we were sitting out at Parasol Down, which is now Aft, and my friend was like, you should just be a Vegas travel agent. You are so good at this. She's like, you picked all these cute places. Like, you knew where everything was. Because I was, like, digging through, like, Pinterest lists and, like, Eater. And I'm, like, looking all over to try to find cute things. So when we got home, my husband was like, hey, I downloaded a like, video editing program, a free one. And we have this horrible snowball mic, like one of the, you know, those, like,
Yep.
I have a snowball mic. Like, why don't we just record a thing where you give people some tips? I mean, just as simple as like, where is the Uber at the airport? Because in 2017, the cab union was still fighting Uber so badly. They actually didn't display very well how to get to Uber, and it was really confusing. They didn't like show it. Now it's real easy to find, but back then you like could not find it. So like, it was helpful information. So we just threw out like a top 10 tips video, put it up there. It's really bad. It did so well. We still have it up. And then we just left it. I mean, we got engaged. I just kind of ignored it totally. We had so much other things going on. It wasn't until several months later, my husband looks at me and goes, hey, that video like did super well. It got a ton of views. And I was like, cool, that's cool. And he's like, you know, if we did a couple more, we could potentially get monetized. And I was like, oh, cool. I was like, so what do you mean? Like we could maybe get a couple $100 a month or something? And he was like, yeah, like probably. And I was like, great. Did 2 more videos. They were awful. They're privated now. You cannot find those. But it got monetized within like 3 videos.
Amazing. Yeah, the first one has 1.3 million views now.
Yeah, it did really well for us at that time. That was crazy. And so I think I'm like, hey travelers, it's Ruby. Like it's oof. But by the time we were gonna come back for our next trip, we were like, okay, well maybe we should try to make some videos. Well, this was 2019, so if you know where this is headed. We had a wedding planned, and our honeymoon was going to be here in Vegas, and a bunch of other stuff, and then COVID happened. And so I got laid off from my culinary job, and our wedding got canceled. Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. 2020 was traumatic. So we had to just kind of swerve, and I feel like we handled it the best way possible. It was like, okay, I'm laid off. My husband was an independent contractor at the time. He works on the computer. He did internet marketing. Really helped us in the back end. And once they opened Vegas again, we had ended up kind of eloping because we still wanted to keep the same year that we were planning to get married. And then we were like, you know what, let's just go and let's film a little. And we came, and right away I was like, wow, there's so many weird differences. So we made a news update of like, here's what's going on. Like, this is really weird. Like, stuff's different. And that did super well, along with our first gambling video ever, which was $100 in the Bellagio. And that one did incredible. Like, those 2 videos did so well. All of a sudden, we came back, and my husband's like, you know, if we keep this up enough, like, I was like, it might be able to pay, like, your half of the rent. And he's like, so then you really don't need to go back to your job if you get it offered. And sure enough, by the time they offered it back to me, I only went back part-time.
Wow.
And then I was only...
What time was that?
That would have been August of 2020.
Wow.
So we'd started the channel in August of 2019. Within the year already, he was like, I went back part-time. I think I was only doing a couple days because it was that, or my really good friend at work was going to lose her insurance because they tried to bring us all back, but they didn't have the same amount of work because of COVID. So they were going to have to cut everybody's hours evenly down the board. And I was like, don't do that because she's going to lose her insurance. And I was already doing pretty well with this. And I was like, I believe in myself. I think this might be a thing. And I was like, keep her full-time. I'll come in like 2 days a week. And then eventually I couldn't get off enough to come back as much as we wanted. So I just he was like, just quit. We're going to just go for it. So
And in 2020, you just quit your job.
completely, August of 2020, I completely quit the job.
Amazing.
Yeah, and so I was just fully committed to doing this because at that point it was paying enough of covering bills to be like, okay, let's go for it. And now, as of now, we both completely do this full time. This is both of our full time gig. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing when people take the leap because you find out just how much more time you have and, to flex your muscles and grow and all that stuff as soon as you kind of leave.
Being your own boss is absolutely incredible. Like we are so lucky to have that because the effort you put in is what you get back. And I mean, I think if anyone who's ever worked in the restaurant industry in particular knows, like, that's not the case. Usually any job, I think you can work your butt off and there's other people not working as hard as you and they're getting the same that you are every day, day in, day out, no matter what. And that's the worst feeling. And so for us, it's like, if we push, if we upload more, if we like work really hard on videos, like we're going to see that return and people are going to see the effort and they can tell we're putting in that effort. And that speaks to like success. And that's fantastic. Cause it's like, if I work hard, I get the reward. So it's just been incredible. I mean, and in no way did we think it was going to be this. Like, this was never a goal. Once it, like, started, it was like, wow, how far can it go? And then, like, we've just enjoyed the journey along the way so much that we never stopped to be like, oh, my gosh, like, I think the 100K happened, and it was like, wow. And then, like, I think it was, like, 9 or 10 months later, 200, and we're like, wow.
Yeah.
And at that point we decided we had to come live here full time. So like it's wild. The people we got to meet, the people that we get to like experience and work with and like the connections, that has been just it's so cool. Like that part of the job is awesome. Just working for yourself and then all the people you get to like be exposed to and meet along the way, other like creative and like-minded people. It's awesome.
Yeah, so you hit the magical 100K subs mark in February of 2022.
Yes.
And then when did the wheels start turning, say, hey, let's leave Wisconsin and
it was
Vegas?
I know it specifically. So at that time, we had been treating this as though this was not going to be forever that entire time. That entire time, it was like, oh, cool, this is like a flash in a pan. Let's make a ton of money doing this. Let's see where this goes. And at this point, we were coming every 4 weeks, we were coming here. Amazing. Once a month, we would come for a week, go home, upload and edit for 3 weeks, and come back.
How many videos would you shoot in a week?
The worst trip we did, we came for 14 days, and we shot 35 videos in 14 days. So that would be a hotel review, and then maybe we'd have to do a buffet. I think at one point I did 3 buffet days in a row. There's videos where we look back and my face is so swollen and I would get these horrible comments like, you've gained so much weight. I'm swollen, okay? Like I ate so much food. I feel awful. Like I felt horrible, but it's like, we needed to get all this content to get home because I think there'd been like 2 months we weren't going to come back. And so we needed like 12 videos or something to get us through. So it's like, we would move hotel every day. And then we had gambling videos we would mix in between there. Those were like a good bread and butter. And then we had the update videos. So we would squeeze those in. So it was like, I would plan these all out in these long lists of here's what we're doing every day for like a 16-hour day. It was like, at this hour we're doing this, at this hour we're doing this.
Wow.
We're going here at this hour, and then here's the videos we got done that day. And then, something would happen, we'd have to swap one, scrap something, like inevitably I would have a video plan that we'd always have to scrap because something would happen. Usually one of us would start not feeling well because we would work for 16 hours and then we would have a day where we just crashed and we're like, we can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
I mean, I would have like fake eyelashes on for 16 hours and then like peel them off. My eyes are like crusted shut and I would wake up. And like in the final thoughts of all my videos, it's like, I swear it's like a hidden thing. Like in all the final thoughts, I look so rough. And I think people think I'm like out partying until it's like, no. We went to bed at 10. We're just exhausted. So I just look like a mess. But it was when we were at the Palms reopening and we were talking to a bunch of other, everybody was there. It was so fun. Yep. It was incredible, right? Yep. Grand openings are so fun. And I'm talking to the people that are, running the event. We're talking to people, and we want to bring you here, and we'd like to do this, and we're meeting other people, glad handing a lot of people. And I, thought about it, and I was like, wow, I kind of want to keep doing this forever. I don't think I want to stop doing this because we were looking into, you know, maybe we'll go into real estate. Maybe we'll take the money and put it here or here. And it was like, I don't know if I want to stop. Like, this is cool. Like, I've had these careers that was like, this is my career, but this feels just like different. And so there was a whole kerfuffle with flights. We had to rush home. It was chaos. You know what I mean? We got home. It was chaos. My husband uploaded a video in 8 hours. It was insane. And I kind of looked at him and I was like, I came and just sat down in his office and I was like, I think we need to move. And he's like, I've been suggesting that. And I was like, yeah, I had to like mull that over because I kept saying no. Like, not knowing anything about the city, nothing against the city. I literally was just like, everybody we know is here. This is where I live. I'd only moved away for college. I lived in Minnesota. And that was really hard because I was like 18 years old. You know what I mean? So the idea of moving again really scared me. And so it was like, no, like this is smart. And as I was telling you guys over there, I'm always cold all the time. So, you know, everyone was commenting in my last video about moving here. Wait until it's 120 degrees. I don't even have the air conditioning on at my house, and it's 90 degrees outside right now. I'm telling you, I'm fine. Like, I have a jacket on, okay? I'm cold. Like, that's just me. But, yeah, it was Palm, so that would have been 20, I think they opened.
Last summer?
Last summer, I think they opened, and we planned it for like 6 months. We didn't tell anybody. It was like, that was like a hot secret. No, like on the channel, like we didn't announce that, nothing. We just showed up here and we're like, we live here now. Like we really kept that like super under wraps. We didn't want anyone to figure it out. We tried not to have a gap in the channel, and that we didn't. We moved here in like end of September, and there was like content coming out, and then I crashed. There was like a little lull, and people were like, now you don't upload anymore that you moved here. It's like, guys, I crashed. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like I think the stress from doing these like huge trips where we were working our absolute butts off and then a move and then trying to keep the channel going, I think I just finally had like a collapse. And there's just like a week where I was like, I can't do anything. Like I need to
it. People need it.
I need to lay here. I'm exhausted. You know what I mean? Like, but feeling a lot better now. Pulled it together. Like
totally did.
Weather got nice and now I feel good.
So how's the adjustment been since you moved here last September?
So, you know, it's been weird because, like I said, I had an itinerary down to the hour. Like, that was how I had things set up. Like, it was like when we came here, it was work mode for the entire day, all day. And now we live here, and the balance is totally different because now we could kind of potentially work any day we want. We don't have to work every day, but it feels like if we're not doing something, like, what are we doing for the day?
Right.
And so we've struggled really hard to create a work-life balance. And we opened a new channel on top of that. So we just came in here and we're like, and now we have a second channel, which...
Ruby Slots.
Yeah. Which it was like, okay, sure, we'll just do 2 channels because we're like, we're going to have so much time, which is true. But what happened was that we completely lost the balance. And we still don't have it as beautiful as I'd like. I would love if I could have, like, we have a beautiful calendar and it's got, like, filming day, editing, this. But inevitably, it is not the same every week. It can't be. No. They never are. And so my week is different every single week. So there's no consistency, and that is tough. It's very tough because it's just like I don't really know my day from one day to the next until I'm in that week. And then the other thing that's really tough is trying to just enjoy Vegas, because that was one thing that we were really excited about. Was like all our trips lately, they've been all work, no play. We have not we enjoy the work, and we're enjoying these new restaurants and these new bars and stuff, but it's for work. And when we moved here, we were like, we're going to be able to do all these things that aren't work. But inevitably, that does not happen because it's so easy to just make it work. And then also, on the days that we're not working, where it's like, do you want to be in the casino? And we're like, not really. Like, we're like dead, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I want to go play blackjack. Let's go play blackjack. Like, we never play tables. We like to play tables, but you can't film them. So, we'll go play blackjack together at Downtown Grand. That'll be so fun. Or, you really want to go to this happy hour. Let's just go and have fun. But it's like we never end up doing it because there's always work we could be doing. We could be doing it for work, or we're just plumb exhausted. So we're still working on that. We really want to, like, make it to where we enjoy Vegas again, like just going out. We do when we have visitors. When we have visitors, which we've had a nonstop flow since we moved. That's a beautiful thing about living here.
Totally. People
always want to come visit you. You're in a good spot. So we've had family or someone visiting like every month, and so when they come, we take them out and show them around, and then we have a great time. So that forces us to go out and enjoy ourselves.
And that must blow their minds.
It's
at
fun.
What's been happening.
Yeah.
To the two of you.
You know, it's really funny with our friends. Our friends think it's so hilarious, especially like I have two of my best friends, like one has been my best friend since kindergarten, the other since high school, and like they think this is so funny. Like they're like, we're used to it, but also explaining it to people is so weird. My friend was at work. They live in Texas, and she was at work, and she was telling her friend she's going to visit some friends. Oh, what do they do down there? She goes, well, one of them, she has like a YouTube channel, and they're like, oh my God, are you talking about Travel Ruby? And she was like, I am, yeah. And she's like, that's your friend? You're lying. And she's like, no, I'm serious. She's like, no, that's actually my friend. No, you want to hear this one I almost don't believe. My mom told me this happened. My mom's not a liar, but she was sitting in a bar in Wisconsin, and a woman came up to her and goes, you literally look like this YouTuber I watch named Travel Ruby. And she goes, well, that's my daughter. So, and I was like, oh my God. My mom's like, I don't even think we look alike. And I was like, Pamela, I am your child. Don't be savage like that. But yeah, they literally recognized my mom, which
That's
I thought
incredible.
was really
The reach
funny.
is unbelievable. I was actually coming up from Pennsylvania on Sunday. The Uber I was in brought you up when I told you I was going to Vegas.
Oh, no kidding.
Crazy.
In Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so wild.
Like Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
middle of
that's
nowhere.
so wild.
And he loved how you were a straight shooter. You know, you tell it like it is. And that's what really resonates.
Yeah, you know, so it's interesting. I have one complaint about honesty on YouTube, and that is that people think you're being honest when you are being negative. The comments that I get the most often, like, I'm so glad you're so honest. You are so honest, is when I'm talking badly about something. I kind of hate that because I strive so hard for positivity. I think that goes a really long way. And I try as hard as I can to not give a bad review on something if I can help it. I have a couple reasons for that. One, here's the thing. Like, I have this example. I was at a bar, and our server was, like, so rude, it was, like, bad, right? Like, you're like, what the heck? Now, I have how many million people that watch this channel? I could have went on there and been like, our server, Betty, was just awful. And then all those people see that, and then their corporate sees that. You know what I'm saying? What if Betty had, like, a family member pass away? What if someone broke up with her? What if she got in a car accident? Like, she might just be having a horribly bad day.
Yeah.
It's really not my place to take someone's worst day ever and memorialize that on the internet. Like, that's awful. So you need to be really careful. Like, it's like a Peter Parker syndrome. Like, you now have all these people that watch you. Like, you need to be really careful before you just crap on stuff. Like, you don't know all the inner workings. Like, when hotels open, when restaurants open, like, there are so many people that work there. And I think a lot of times people see these hotels as this is a giant mega conglomeration. It's just a big bad business. They don't realize how many people work there. Like, this is a lot of people's livelihoods. This is their jobs. Like, to just go out of your way to find negative stuff, it will sell. All of my negative videos have the most views.
Oyo.
Oyo. That one made the news. I made a TikTok on that. One TikTok went absolutely viral. It made the news. That was so bad, there was no choice. And quite frankly, it's one of the funniest videos ever because it was so bad it was funny. Like, it was just to the point where you're like we had a blast. I still, like, think of it fondly because it was so bad it was funny.
Right.
Like, I mean, like, you can't make up a shower handle just falling off. Like, it was like, what? The fire alarm goes off. We're stuck in an elevator. There's, like, a dirty magazine floating in a pool. You can't make it up. You can't. Like, that is content.
Crazy.
But if I can help it, it's always best to give positivity and a positive spin. And I think people need to realize that the more hotels I've stayed at, the more objective I'm trying to be. Because just because I've stayed at the Wynn doesn't mean I can compare all the hotels on Fremont to the Wynn. That is not fair. And those people aren't even looking for that. They're looking for something totally different. So you can't compare them to each other. You have to look at each individual thing that you are reviewing of itself, as if this is the first time someone is seeing that and they don't have other comparisons. So it's like I've become more objective the bigger the channel's gotten and the more experience I've had. But I still try to give it, like, as tactful review as possible. And a subscriber was like, I really appreciate when I can tell you don't like something. She's like, you still say it real nice, but you can tell. And I was like, it's an art form of respecting the people that put the work into the product and the people that are watching you and wanting advice. You have to take care of both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, these people are putting their time and effort into something. I'm the bad reviewer on Ratatouille. Like, I'm that guy. But then people are watching this and they don't want to spend their hard-earned money on something that's not worth it. And they want to have a good vacation. And that's who I originally started this channel for, was to help people have a good vacation. So I have to watch out for them too. So now it's a tightrope that I try to walk, and that's just because of how much more influence the channel's gotten. When I was smaller, I felt less guilty about being like, I don't like this because I'm just somebody. I don't matter. But now, like, so many people are looking at this and taking this advice. Like, I have to be careful, you know?
And then what it's been like from the corporate standpoint, like have they reached out to you? Have they seen some of the videos or?
Oh, you mean like the hotels and things like?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, as soon as the channel got super huge, like almost every hotel has at some point reached out to us at this point. A lot of different restaurants. You know, no one has ever paid me for anything. I would like to make that abundantly clear.
No.
Because if you get paid money to do something, you must disclose you were paid money. That is the law. And so when I see these comments, they paid her. No, that would be illegal. They have not paid me. That is not how this works. They have invited us out. They have welcomed us, and we love that. And there's one reason we love it, and it pretty much has nothing to do with free stuff, because at this point, we've invested thousands of dollars of our own money. And now the channel is self-sustaining so much, we can really afford to go wherever we need to go. So it's not about money at all. I can invest anything I need to into the channel. And when we were early on, I had a lot of videos break even. We spent so much that what we made on that individual video did not earn us any money. That was happening really early in the channel.
Wow.
Like, because we were buying expensive dinners and people wanted to see that stuff. And then we were living on the strip. Like, we had to eat our breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything. We had to do all our Ubers. Like, our whole life was there for 10 days. You spend a lot of money when that happens. And so, and now all of this is write-offable, of course, but you're still paying it in the front end. And then if the video didn't really give you anything, and that was early on, that's not the case anymore. So now it doesn't, I can spend what I need to on the channel. The one reason I really like being invited is the ability to film, the permission to film, because we get so many comments like, oh, you guys always show the best shots of this, and I love that you can show these in-depth shots of the tables, and you cannot film tables without permission. You can't do that. Like, the casino has to know you're there, and if they don't know we're there, we still do videos where we're not invited, and we're like, you know, in the casino, yes. And I feel like if you're really watchful, you could probably tell, because it's like, I'm like standing in front of him, like trying to get a couple quick B-roll shots, because we don't want to if we get kicked out, that's it. And we've gotten yelled at in like 3 or 4 casinos, I think, total, which is good.
Well, that's not bad.
That's not bad, no. Yeah. If you wait until it's real busy, that helps.
Oh.
But we had to sneak around at first because we didn't have permission. And now if we have it, it's like the biggest breath of fresh air. We can go right in the middle of the casino. I can stand right in the middle, and he's like, okay, this is a beautiful shot. It looks so nice, and I'm not going to get yelled at for filming. So, like, that is the only reason why if a hotel reaches out, we're so happy to do it, because it's like, oh my gosh, we can film. Like, they know we're here. That is a huge load off. I understand why for some viewers, they may be like, oh, well, now it's bias. And so I understand why they feel that way, but I'm never going to go that route. I'm never going to do that to people. Like, I've never had a hotel even tell me to say anything specific. I've never had a hotel be like, and you need to make sure you don't show this or this. Never, ever. There are like no guidelines. Hi, please come to our hotel. We'd love for you to do a video. That's it. They don't look at it beforehand, nothing. I can say whatever I want and upload it. That's
great.
That's it. Like, there's no bias there. They don't make me become biased. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of them, they just send us our normal confirmation code or whatever, and that's it. Like, we just go check in like anybody else. It's just that they alerted security we're there so we don't get yelled at, which is beautiful. So, I mean, if I could have permission to film in every single one, it would really help. I think it really improves the quality of the videos. But it's not always. We don't always have permission. I mean, we tend to just do what we need to do for the channel.
True. And MGM recently tried to ban slot and play, which actually bled into poker play as well. What's that experience been like since they announced that?
So it's interesting. When we first were doing slots on Travel Ruby before we transitioned into having our own individual slot channel, which the only reason we divided them is that we knew we wanted to do slot play every day. And I didn't want that clogging up the Travel Ruby feed, because I know people are there for the tips and hotels. Even though our slot play on that channel did amazing, we needed to transition over to being its own channel. And I think some of our viewers on that channel still don't even know that we have the slot channel. Yeah, no joke. I still think they don't. But that's fine because that was the goal. But when we initially reached out and asked about permission to film, MGM, this was 2 years ago, I think, was just like, yeah, no, as long as you're not disturbing anybody, it's fine. And it was very much like a case by case. Because then we would go to some hotels and we'd get yelled at by security. That's it. You just have to leave. Even if you had previous permission, the security guard said, no, you're out. That's it. And Cosmo was recent. That happened to us first, where we were in there and they were like, hey, sorry, you guys can't film. And we were like, what? Like, we have like a person that we know there. Like, we can film here. And they're like, no, as of now, you can't. So then I posted on Instagram. And then I think Vital Vegas tweeted about it. It became this huge thing. And then magically they kind of like backtracked. Because not for us, we're a nothing slot channel. But you got NG, and you got Low Roller, and you got people spending mad bank. Lady Luck, like you need her in your casinos. Yeah. So then they very quickly sort of backpedaled, and it was like, as long as you're not disturbing anyone. So they keep it super vague. We have recently filmed in an MGM casino, and we kind of just like, if they yell at us to leave, we leave. That's it. I mean, like, we just film where we can. I mean, a lot of the off-strip ones know you're there and they don't care. Like, we've asked to film at, like, the stations and, like, Boyd, and, like, they're very chill about it. I mean, you need to be really mindful not to film everybody else. Try not to film other people if you can. And just, as long as you're kind of keeping it to yourself and not disturbing anybody, I think for the most part they're cool with it. It changes every day because Venetian used to not want anyone filming in there. We would get yelled at anytime we tried to go in. Now they like welcome it. They want anybody in there filming. So it changes every day. I mean, it's just, you never know who's in the higher ups has decided what's the thing. And I think slot YouTubing kind of became like a huge thing in really recent years. And like social media in general. And this idea that like you can kind of be filmed anywhere at any time is kind of new. And so I think they're still kind of adjusting to how do we like respect privacy of the guests while still getting this essentially free advertising into our casinos, because this is like the new way of advertising at this point, you know? And I think they're realizing that. I think it's kind of like one of those things where like the influencers are working with the hotels working with the influencers, and then everybody just needs to respect everybody else, you know?
Slot influencing is kind of a really interesting thing.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, especially with the big ones.
That was, like I said, when we first started our channel, it wasn't vlogs. We had no idea what we were doing with vlogs yet.
Right.
We had not developed game on that at all. Those slot plays like are still some of our highest viewed videos. Were our like original slot plays where I'm like sitting at a slot machine with $100 and like putting it like $100 at Flamingo. I think that has like 800,000 views, like Aria, like crazy. Like those were like really carrying our channel because there really wasn't a ton of slot channels, and now there are for sure. Like a lot of people are doing it. I will say, if you are like thinking of starting like a slot channel or something, people always say like, oh, the niche is too saturated. Oh, it's a super saturated niche now. There's no such thing, especially I think with slots, because people want to watch more slots. They never grow old of it. It's always a new play. Every single person is doing a new play. And just because there's these big channels, they still want to see even more channels. Like, they can't get enough of it. It's gambling. It's addictive. Like, people want to watch. So it's just, you just have to do it, you know? So we started that channel right when we moved, knowing that we were kind of starting from scratch again a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it got monetized the second we announced it. So it was like not really starting from scratch, but knowing we weren't going to get the same attention as having it on Travel Ruby. But that was a conscious decision, just not wanting to muddy Travel Ruby with all of this slot play, because we're doing it every day. That's a lot of videos. You know, I hate when people clog up my feed with like stuff I don't want to watch. That makes me unsubscribe. So we had to be mindful of that.
That was smart. What's your take on YouTube Shorts?
We don't do them.
Yeah.
Congrats, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
On 100K, that's
thank
awesome.
you.
You're gonna get the plaque. The
yes,
plaque is
I'm
fun.
very excited.
The plaque is fun. We don't do those. You know, I will say in general though, we are slackers on short form content. I wouldn't say we're slackers. I would say we need one more of each of us. Would be ideal. We are too stubborn to hire anyone. Like, we refuse to do it, and it's like we desperately need somebody, because like we're stretching real thin, and so we have a bunch of unedited TikToks that I've recorded that needs to get up, and then we gotta upload those. And so, I mean, we do have TikTok, and we upload those to Instagram's Reels and Facebook Reels, but the way that shorts are is like, it is so good for getting out there to get people to see your content. The algorithm works really well with, especially TikTok. It's ridiculous how well the algorithm works to push your content to people. I mean, the people were commenting, "Oh, Ruby!" Like it sent me to them without me trying at all.
Yeah,
like, it's
amazing.
It's an amazing platform. So it's wonderful to have short form content to get more viewers. But in terms of us, every time we've ever focused on content, it was focusing on money, like monetary, like for us. And so it was always like YouTube, Facebook, money, boom. And so that was like our main focus because it was like how can we pay for everything with this? But now I really want to push into doing some more of this short stuff. People's attention spans aren't what they used to be. The world is changing with how fast people are getting information. I do think we're losing nuance. I don't like that very much because we've even made our videos slightly shorter as we go, just slightly. And some people notice, they're like, oh, they're a little shorter than they used to be. People don't want the nuance. They want the quick information. Give them the information, get out there. So I have to accept that. This sort of platform for me, if you haven't noticed, I'm a little long-winded. This is
Love it, though.
This is kind of my like platform. I want to explain my thought process, like that, and you can't really do that. And with short form, you definitely can't. It took me so long to figure out how to talk in 1 minute. He was like, that was too short. And I'm like, I can't tell how long I've been talking. This is hard. Like, giving information about the peppermill in 1 minute is hard. But people like it. People love that kind of content. And we have so much content that we can like repurpose and reformat into short form. So that's something we're absolutely focusing on this year. We want to focus on that, and we really want to focus on our merch. Like, we really need to. People are asking for more merch every day. We really need to get some merch going.
So let's just shed some light on your process. I mean, your 20 worst scams and rip-offs in Las Vegas is your biggest video. You put that out only 9 months ago.
Yes.
2.2 million views. Can you talk to me maybe for example of planning that?
Sure.
From execution to editing and all that kind of stuff.
Once again, it was a negative video, so we knew it was going to do well because it's negative, unfortunately.
Well,
no,
but very helpful.
Very helpful. Yeah, and that one was, it's less about like crumbing on like a specific thing, so I didn't feel so bad about it. It was like, here's how to not get scammed. And so it's one of those things that being a tourist, as long as we were before moving here, I think really gave us a unique and excellent perspective of doing this because we saw things from being in a hotel for 24 hours without the ability to go home that I really think helped. I mean, people were like, you did not sleep there. Where was I gonna go? Like, I literally took a coat hanger at Circus and like peeled the bedding off and like laid like this until we could go to the next hotel. I'm not joking. It was bad. Not joking. Like, we had no choice. Like, we had to stay. And so you see, when you're out walking on the strip every single day, you see the scams, you see the people handing stuff, you see, you've done it and seen it all. And so you have to just get into that mindset of what's something we did not know when we came that very first trip? What did we not know? And how do we get that content out to people? So my husband and I like sit down. I have like a master list on my phone of so many videos. Like, we're never out of content. I will tell you that right now. I have hundreds of ideas in my phone. And so when we get the idea, we workshop it and we talk to each other. This is what I mean about how there's really no work-life balance. It's like all day, every day. My husband goes in the shower and then he yells for me because his ideas come in the shower. And then I have to come upstairs and just sit in there and like, what? And I'm like, he gets so many ideas in the shower. And so like we constantly workshop the content to each other back and forth. And then like, he's like, okay, we need 20. I want 20. I want a big chunky list, 20. He's like, and we're just going to bam, 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 bam. Like, bombard them with information to where they can't click off. And then it was the order. And we're like, what's one no one's ever talked about? And it's kind of controversial. It's the fake pot. No one talks about the fake pot stores.
I love you brought that.
They're not real. And that's so not okay. You're ripping people off. Like, that should be illegal. It should say not pot. Like, that's awful. I don't even indulge in that. I still think it's wrong. It's not cool. So that was a big one. And we're like, that needs to be like front and center. Like, people don't know that, and they do need to know that because they're getting ripped off. So it was like, what are things that the first time people don't know? The timeshare people telling you they're going to give you free stuff. They're going to waste a ton of your time to do it. Like, people don't know that. They walk up to you and they look like they work there, and they're like, oh, do you want free play? Would you like free play? No, you don't want. If anybody hands you anything, you don't want it. You don't want it. Don't take it. Walk away. You know. And scams and cabs. I've been ripped off in a cab. We've been like nearly ripped off in a cab before.
You brought that up.
Yeah.
Like the set fee versus.
Yes, we got in the cab. The guy was already being really sketchy, and our fee was more than our friends who went ahead of us by like $5. Then he stops, hits another button, and adds to it, and we're like. And I was like, and my husband's like, no, what? And he's arguing with him because he'll argue. And then the guy's like, and I'm like, hey, just drop it. We're here with everybody. Let's just. And he hands it. My husband gives him an exact change because he ripped us off. And the dude starts swearing. We're like, dude, do you want to call and report you? Like, what you're doing is wrong. Like, we know that you're adding. I know what you're doing, and it's wrong. Like, but we risked it, and I do think you can risk a cab. We were leaving Chateau at Paris. It was 2 a.m, so we didn't feel safe to walk. We were going to MGM Grand. It's not that far, but we didn't feel safe to walk. It was late. You should not be walking on the strip at 2 a.m. Period. I had really tall shoes on too, but we're like, all right, an Uber right now is like $40. They're surging because it's club closed. Well, it's not even the close. It's just everyone's tired and they're going home. We jump in this guy's cab. We tell him MGM. He says not a word. Whips around the back. He is gunning it. He got us to MGM Grand in $3 from Paris. We're like, I literally think he like Tokyo drifted over a ramp at one point. I don't know how we got there for $3. We gave him a 10. We're like, dude, heck yeah, here's $10. Like, how did you get us here so quick? Like, just be honest and hardworking. Here's your money, man. Like, thank you, you know? So it is worth it sometimes. And that's the nuance, again, which you have to cut out when you make these quick, zippy content. But knowing that kind of thing is just something you learn from being here. You know, they used to long haul. They can't even do that anymore, but they used to. This was all stuff that...
Insane, yeah.
And I think that video got a ton of comments like, Vegas is such a scam. And it's like every big city is. Like, have you been to New Orleans? My friend got her wallet stolen in New Orleans. She also walked under that haunted walkway. Do you know what have you been to New Orleans?
I've never been.
Okay,
I know what
it's
you're
amazing,
about.
but you got to be really careful there. There we did a ghost tour. It was incredible. And that horrible Madame, whatever her name was, she like where she tortured all those people in that house. It's like super haunted, and they're like the locals don't even walk under this bridge, right? Well, my friend is like a very much like I don't believe in any of that garbage. Walks under the bridge. We go to the casino, and she gets her wallet stolen. And I was like, the demons got you.
Totally.
They got you. Like, so you have to be careful in every major city. And I want to stress that because I do think whenever I put out any sort of negative content regarding Las Vegas, people are like, that's because it's a horrible city and yada, yada. No, not at all. This is a wonderful city. Like, there's so many great things about it. But you just have to be careful when you're in any sort of tourist destination. Anywhere you go has these risks. But it helped a lot of people. It was super helpful. And ultimately, that's all our videos try to do is just give people the lowdown. Here's the wherewithal. Here's what you need to know. And so that's all we've set out to do. I always like to pretend like, I think I said before, like if I was on an airplane sitting next to you and you're like, oh, I've never been, what should I do? Like I want it to be me relaying that information to you for sitting on this airplane. Like, you need to do this. You need to go here and this. And like, that's how I've kind of like taken to talking to the cameras. Like, this is me just giving this person some advice.
The lowdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like with that video, did you just shoot that one video?
No, that one.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
So
right?
again, when we were shooting that video, that one actually we had to do a couple months because we didn't get a specific shot, so we had to wait until the next trip.
Wow.
So you'll notice how many times I changed outfits. That's how many days. So what I would do is we did not bring a car when we would come here, and it wasn't worth it to rent a car. Depending on the hotels I decided we were doing for that specific trip, I then figured out what was the closest buffets or other things, and then I consulted what lists were we doing. And so then I have the list, and then I'm seeing here's the shots that we have to get the B-roll and where I'm going to be speaking, and where are we staying on strip in conjunction so that we don't have to walk as far. So I don't want to have a whole day where I'm walking, because like one of those pot stores on the strip I think is all the way down by MGM. It's gone now, but it was over by like the Hawaiian Marketplace, and we're staying at Harrah's. That's way too far. We're not. It was like 100 degrees. The camera will overheat. So it's like, okay, wait. So we're staying at Park MGM, and I'm like, that's way closer. So when we're staying at Park MGM, we have to go and get these shots and do it on this day.
So what is it, like a chart you have, just piecing?
It was my
together?
iPad had just it was like a schedule, and I'm not a great note taker, but it would be here's day this. I would probably put what I was wearing, which hotel we were doing, at what time of day do we need to stop to go and do B-roll. So I'd be like B-roll for scams. So it would say like Harrah's, blah, 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 B-roll for scams. And then in parentheses, it would be like daiquiri store, get footage of these guys, like watch for CD guys, like the CD people, like watch for the CD guys.
Right.
So then we're down at Harris and I'm like, okay, there's always CD guys right here. And we're like waiting for them. We get the shot. We're like, that's done. And then I would just erase stuff off the list on my iPad as we would go. And then be like, okay, that's done, that's done, that's done. And like, so, okay, all that's left is we have to go to this lounge. We have to, it's so funny because you'd see me at the end of the video, I'm like, and we're just going to sit here and enjoy drinks and we're going to call it a night. And then we would cut and I'd be like, okay, let's go. And we're like going to bed. No, I'm not joking. Or like, my friend was like, oh, do you guys just go and do your gambling after that? I'm like, is it 10:30 or 11? No, I'm going to sleep. Like, we're so tired. Like, sometimes I'd have to put the same outfit on. That was the worst. You ever like been out in Vegas in 115 degree weather and then have to put that outfit on again the next day? Yay. You know, like, so my husband's like, I didn't get that shot of you walking that I need for you to like walk. And I'm like, so I'm like putting the same clothes on and then walking around, and like sometimes my shoes are a little different or something's like I don't have a piece of jewelry. Like if you were really if you were really paying attention, you could catch the reshoots. Like we call it the reshoots. Like he'd wake up and be like, I didn't get, like I need a shot of you sitting at this slot machine. I need that. And like reshoots, got to put that outfit on. Like my makeup would be totally different. No one ever clocked it, but like I had to just redo it. Like that's what it is. The intro, like I'm wearing a totally different outfit. Now it's late. Well, we want to do the intro at night. I got to put that outfit back on so we can do the nighttime intro. Like,
are you carrying these outfits with you?
At the time, oh yeah. We would have like 5 or 6 pieces of luggage that we would come every time we would come. We'd fly Southwest because you could like check bag, bring a bag. Yeah, because I mean, I'm there for 10 days and I'm wearing like maybe 2 or 3 outfits in each one.
Yeah.
And like I'm wearing a different swimsuit in all the videos so you can tell which video it is. And so, I mean, like, and I got really good at packing down to the necessities, but no, I had that many outfits. And then like we had to separate, like the dirty laundry had its own like quarantine, like a suitcase at one point by the end of it. You know what I mean? My husband would run out of shirts every trip. Doesn't matter how many shirts he brought, he's out of shirts. We'd go to H&M every time to get shirts. One time we came in March, this was really on in the channel, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be like 75 every day, amazing. Yeah, except for it's really cold in the morning, like really cold, and I did not know, and I only brought 1 sweatshirt, so we had to go buy like 3 sweatshirts, because I was like, I can't wear the same sweatshirt in every video, like I need different ones for each one, so we had to go get, because then we did a cheap breakfast video, and I think you can see I model all of my new sweatshirts, because I'm wearing them in like every single morning shot, because it's cold, and I didn't realize that at the time, you know? So it's yeah, all those clothes, all that stuff had to come with, all of our equipment had to come with, and so every single flight, it was just like, oh my God, we're carrying, and then we'd carry all of that to the next hotel, and we were switching hotels every day. God. So we never unpacked. I would lay out the one outfit I was going to wear, dress in that, everything else was in packing cubes. And then we would have to pack everything up. We would keep it, usually they would just stay shut. Like I would take my like toiletry bag out and that's it. And then we would go to the next place. So we're harking like 4 things of luggage everywhere we went. And he was like, if we move there, we will not have to do that anymore. Like it's
true.
I've underpacked at this point. We like woke up in a hotel and I was like, I don't even think I brought clothes. Like, cause I was like, I don't have to bring anything. Like I live here. Keep forgetting to bring my hair curler. And I'm like, you have to bring your stupid hair curler. Like you have to. My hair was looking a hot mess in one of these most recent videos. Cause I was like, didn't even bring my curler cause I didn't have to. And it's like, so I need to find that balance, but I was used to having everything with me. Like that's how we were doing it. It
Amazing.
Was the fact that I don't know how we did it that long. I really don't. I don't know how we were doing it like that. That's insane. Why we were doing it for that long, but it was just kind of like autopilot, like this content, like we're making content, this is amazing. And it was almost like kind of nice because it was a bubble of like, I'm just here to exist to make content. That is why I'm here. I don't have a life outside of this. Like my cat stayed with my mom for those days because we'd be gone like 10 days. I don't have a pet at home waiting for me, nothing. This is my life. This is all I'm doing. I exist on the strip and that's it. So it was like just content create central. Like it was our whole focus, you know? And now my life exists outside of it too. So then we go home and it's like, okay, we're not doing content. Now we're doing content. So I have to keep switching modes, which has been kind of strange because I'm so used to just existing only to make content.
So you shoot everything, and then how does the editing process work?
Oh man, my husband's a genius, I guess is what I'm gonna say. He has no background in filming or editing at all. He had an internet marketing background, but nothing in photography, camera. He completely taught himself how to use cameras. And then we got a new editing software, and he completely taught himself how to do that too. And he was already he's a Pisces, he's extremely creative, and he was already making like his own beats. Like we have our Golden Nugget video, our first one. All the music he made himself. Like he.
So the credit at the end is his music.
Yeah,
every
it
time.
is.
Okay,
it is.
I was going to ask that.
So that was all of those in the Golden Nuggets, all his music. And then he had all these different like other creators that make like music that he really liked, and he had this huge playlist just already there. So when we started editing, he was like, I have all these songs, I just need to figure out which song I want to put in. And then now we've gotten to the point where I know how he edits them, so now I can anticipate and shoot it the way that he's gonna edit it. Like I've gotten better at being like, I know what he's gonna cut down, I know which speech parts we need. We used to one and done every take. I would talk, that's it, move on. There's no script, I just talk, what I said is what I said. Now I will do it maybe 3 times, and I'll say it different ways. I'll change it up so that he can edit those together if need be, change the tone, the flow of that. And then also, when I know he wants to get like specific B-roll shots, like I can scope that and be like, I think we need this, or why don't you get a shot of me walking here and then show this because this will be a cool shot. And like, so now I can kind of pre-shoot with him to where we know what he's gonna need for the video. Because he overshoots. We way overshoot. I mean, we're doing...
You never know.
We're shooting for like 12 hours and the videos are 10 minutes. So like we're way overshooting. I mean, it's like a full day of overshooting. But he needs so much to work with to make these snappy little 30-second cuts. And like how I pick up a menu, like when I set a drink down, like how I do any of those things just adds a little flourish, and that contributes to the video. So like any of those little things I can add for him, like, just really helps to add to the editing for him. There's always just cool little things he can put in, but he's just extremely talented.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, he's incredible. I mean, the progress in a couple years is crazy. I mean, I know he has like we watch Casey Neistat, like the godfather of vlogging, literally the godfather of vlogging. Like he was such a creative, and he is a creative and talented human being. And so like his like vlogs when he was really heavy into the vlog days, like definitely gave us some inspiration on like how to shoot something. But it's different. It's a little different because of the vloggers, a lot of them, it's just them. And we were a duo. So it became sort of a broadcasting perspective. I'm standing talking to the camera. I'm not holding it. It changes the dynamic entirely. Then when someone's like, so that feels a little bit more like a person talking to you. I feel like I'm talking to a camera like it's a news or like a travel show. And that's kind of how we wanted it to be. We wanted it to be like a travel show, but still maintain a little bit of personality and be like for YouTube. But it definitely kind of felt like it was giving like more of a professional perspective of like, I have my camera guy here and I'm telling you about this, you know? And it was just different. I feel like it just made it a little different from like another vlog. So we kind of tried to play on that. We played on the fact that he can shoot me in angles that other vloggers can't do because it's just them. Like he can shoot me in ways that other people can't do that. So it definitely added style to the videos. And then we were doing some really fun intros because we really wanted to stand out because a bunch of heavy hitters got into hotel vlogging. Like for a while it was like we had quite a few people that were all really passionately doing this. And so we were like, we need to stand out. Like one, give the best information. I'm trying to give you the best information on everything. What can I cover so that you know everything you need to know in this video? But two, how can we make it kind of fun? So we played around. We did all kinds of, you know, goofy, silly. Some of them are cringy. Some are great, like intros. Just playing around, you know what I mean? And
Totally.
Having fun with it, which I think showed like passion to the project. I think people saw our passion for it and what we were trying to convey in a creative way, but also in a way that was really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, all of that. I mean, those are all great key points to anyone who wants to be a creator, who wants to do this kind of thing. I mean, those are amazing.
Yeah.
But from a fan perspective, when you're talking about all the work that you do behind the scenes and the planning and all that, it just seems exhaustive. And people just take it for granted that you're just one take shooting it,
Yeah.
and they make a stupid comment.
Well, I know someone was like, oh my God, like I've seen a lot, I want your life, like, oh my God. And I get it. Trust me, this is amazing. Like what I do is amazing. This is incredible. Like trying new cocktails and bites and like new hotels, and it's fantastic. We are 1000% working our butts off. Hard. I mean, hard, because I've never put anything in halfway. And I mean, I worked in the restaurant industry, and if anybody works themselves to the actual bone, it's people in the restaurant industry. So I'm no stranger to just exhausting my body. So like, how far can we push it and how much could we do? And we just, like, it was like, I was fueling between like, how much coffee have I had? Do I need a beer? Like, no, because the anxiety would kick in, you know, because you're exhausted, and people, when you pull a camera out, at this point I'm completely unfazed, but when you pull a camera out, people stare at you. And I would do these segments where it was like we would talk about history or a fun fact or information where I need to know dates or like names, and I'm bad with names and I'm not great with dates. And so I'm trying to like memorize little content and then put that into natural words, and to have like 4 people stop and just be like, I would start like messing up, and like I'm not good when I mess up. Like my husband would be like, okay, just because I'll be like, I screwed up. I'm not used to that. Normally I speak and I'm done and that's it. And I'll get so flustered, and he'll be like, pause, let's go get a Miller Lite real quick. Like, we just need to decompress, sit at the bar, just breathe. Okay, let's reshoot it. Like, now I don't care if people are staring at me. I've had one beer. Because it's like, I'm a very outgoing and a very extroverted person, but no one can handle that many people just staring at you. Like, it's just, you don't get used to that. It's very strange, you know?
It must be wild for subscribers to see you on the strip shooting.
Yeah.
And now that you live here, I'm sure it's picked up even more. Any fun kind of stories?
Oh,
with,
gosh, you know,
fans?
it's always fantastic to meet subscribers. At any given point, I am always happy to say hi to subscribers, even when I really don't feel like I am. Like, one time, I think it was 11:30 midnight, we had to get walking footage for the update. So when we do our update videos, you see that walking. That's our footage. Like, that's my husband holding the tripod. It's heavier than heck because he wants it stable, and he's walking, and he's sweating, and it's like 95, and it's dark, and I'm walking with him, and if people are running into us, like, I have to talk to them, but he can't stop because he wants it a consistent shot. And so we stopped, and we're exhausted. We're so tired. And I grabbed like a jaw burrito, and we're like trying to go back to the room, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. My feet hurt so bad. And I just hear, Ruby! And I'm like, crap. But I cannot treat that person any different than if I was bright and sunshiny. That is not fair. Like, they deserve my attention. They are the reason I have this channel. So I have to stop and be like, hi. Yeah, you want a picture? Let's take a picture. Like,
yeah.
I'm dying, but it's not fair to them. Like, they deserve my attention, and they deserve like me respectfully talking to them for a little bit, because, you know, they're the reason we have the channel. It can get hard. There are times where we're trying to get something done and we keep getting run into. If we're in a very busy spot and it's like, okay, we really need to get this shot. Like, we've gotten interrupted a couple times. Like, we really got to get this going. We have a little more time than we used to, but when we were like filming on our tight schedule, I was like, guys, I do not have time. And I still get DMs all the time. Meet us for drinks. We want to buy you a drink.
Yeah.
We want to buy you a drink. And that's so kind. And I really appreciate the gesture. If I accepted the drinks from all of you guys, I would be a stone cold drunk. Like, I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. I would be faded all the time. Like, it's so sweet of you guys. Like, I really appreciate it. I appreciate how my subscribers take me as like a friend, how they see me as somebody they could have a drink with. That's fantastic. But I can't do it every time. I wish I could, you know? But I can stop and say hello to every single person. I can take a photo with every single person, and I always will. That I can do.
It's a highlight of the trip.
It can be, yeah. And, you know, I do call it the incognito mode when we go gambling sometimes. I shouldn't reveal my secret, but I'll put, when I have a hat on and sunglasses, a lot of times people don't recognize me, especially if I have like a t-shirt on, because that's not my normal getup. So if I got like a t-shirt and a hat, like, we can usually get around with most people not catching me, because my husband's pretty incognito. Mind you, he's 6'4", he's pretty easily spotted, but people don't generally catch him. So that's incognito mode. But I don't know how much longer that'll hold out, because with the slot channel now, people see me looking like that all the time. So, but I'm always happy to meet the subscribers. Like, we owe everything to them. So I'm so happy to say hi. I wish I had more time for them. Maybe, I know people have asked to do like a meetup and stuff like that. We've thought about that. It feels weird to do come meet me. I feel weird about that. I
agree.
Micro celebrity is very strange, because I read a really cool article about that in the Cosmo called Micro Celebrity. Like, people know who you are. Like, an abnormal amount of people know who you are. You're not famous. You're not important. I like to say I'm not important. I have a YouTube channel. It helps people. I'm glad I'm helping people, and I know I have influence, but I hate being called an influencer. I hate it. I don't like that word at all.
Same.
Feels weird. It feels like I'm trying to tell people what to do. I don't like that. But at the same time, people really do want to meet you, and they want to say hi, and they're like excited. So it's just this weird feeling. Like, I don't feel like I'm important enough to gather people together to come say hi to me, but they want it. So it's like we do the group polls, and that's definitely kind of one of the ways that we do that, like those group slot polls with people. Then
I love those.
Yes, people love them.
Such high energy.
They're
Everyone's pumped
so
up.
stressful. They're so
I
stressful.
would imagine.
Well, you're collecting like $10,000, and then you're just holding $10,000 of people's money. That's scary. It's really, and then there's a lot of people all together that you have to organize. So those are stressful, but people love them. They love them. So we try to do those. You absolutely have to set those up with hotels because people are like, why don't you do more? Well, we have to organize that with the hotel. We're getting 50 people together and handling a huge amount of cash, and we're probably going to get some hand pays, hopefully. That's a lot we got to get that set up with the hotels. So we're working on some soon. We want to keep doing it. We want to do at least a few a year, like at least a couple, couple biannual situations so that people can come and do them because they really do like them. I get asked about those a lot.
I bet.
A lot, yeah. Hopefully one soon, hopefully.
I want to be part of it.
Yeah, you should. Come and join. I will. You need to absolutely come and join the next one. They're
That would
fun.
be amazing. Going back to restaurants, so you were in the restaurant industry. I didn't know this for
I know.
years.
I told you that when you were like, I couldn't find that anywhere. I'm a woman of many secrets. I've lived many lives. No, I graduated from Le Cordon Bleu with patisserie and baking, an associate's in patisserie and baking, and I was classically trained in French cooking. So all the classic, everything there is to know there. I have been a wedding cake decorator, a chocolatier, and then I did laminated doughs. So that's croissant and pastry and that kind of thing. And then one of my favorite gigs was I was a teacher. So Sur La Table, the stores,
Yep.
They do cooking classes in the back. I was one of the chefs that taught people. And I actually had like my favorite boss ever, Chef Mike, who lived in China for 3 years and actually paid a soup dumpling master $300 American to teach the Gaijin how to do the soup dumplings. And then he taught me. And it's like an incredibly amazing product, from the bones down to making like a full soup dumpling. And so I learned so much while teaching because I learned on the job for a lot of that. So now I know how to make, Mexican, Chinese, Thai, like all these different styles of cuisine, not just my classic French. So now when I go to these buffets and I'm trying this cuisine, I know how to make this stuff and it really helps. And so I think that made the buffets really stand out is I could find flavors and I knew what the flavors were and I know what things are. I still have blind spots. I'm not an expert by any means on everything, but it really helped to discern flavor profiles. And I think that's really, really helped.
Yeah, one of the best pieces of advice one of the old school critics gave me was to take cooking classes. Any foodie should do that.
Yeah, it was great because I wasn't teaching other chefs. I was teaching normal household cooks. And I took the job to do their pastry because a lot of chefs will say, like, you can be a chef. A pastry person can be a chef, like regular cooking, but not the other way around. But that's because they're two different sciences. Baking is chemistry, and cooking is physics. And so when you're cooking, things can change on the fly and shift. Baking's not like that. You put that in and pray to the baking gods. And if it doesn't turn out, you did something wrong.
Right.
So especially chocolatier work, that is heavy science. And so just teaching people that, I think really helped. One with just my communication skills, period. Because people have asked, like, oh, do you have broadcasting? It's like, no, but I live taught people in an hour. So I had 16 students staring at me while I taught them how to make pasta from scratch. And so you have to be very clear in telling them what to do. Sometimes it was small children. Horrifying. Teenagers was even worse because you're not worried they're going to cut their hand off, but they're so, like, acting like they don't want to be there. And I'm like, you all paid to be here. I know you want to know. Like, I'm like, who can tell me what the window pane is in bread? And they're all just like, I'm like, I know you guys know. Whereas the little kids are like, oh, I want to crack the egg. But you're like, please, no one cut anything or slip and fall. Oh, yeah. Chaos. But, the adults were a perfect mix. People wanted to be there, and no one was going to cut themselves. That's not true. People cut themselves all the time. Knife skills was my least favorite class, teaching people how to use knives. I still hate watching anyone cut anything in the kitchen. I will take over. I don't like it. But, yeah, the culinary degree has been such a blessing for this. I did not expect it to carry me to here. Like, I did it because I loved making other people happy. Like, I would bring treats to school in high school. Like, I loved, like, handing out. I was, like, a weirdo that would bring, like, cookies and hand them out to, like, random strange kids. Like, I wanted everybody to, like, be happy, have joy. And, like, baking, like, brings people joy. So I just wanted to keep giving people little bits of joy. And food is just joy. Like, food is life. It's joy. It's you're giving people just, like, a really, like, little bit of happiness. Everybody has to eat, but you can enjoy it every single time if you do it right. You know what I'm saying? And so I was so passionate about the industry, but the industry is also insanely difficult, and it needs a union and all these other things. So being able to take that love of food, the passion for cooking, all of that, and actually translate it into something that's still helping people, and that I can still experience it is great. Like I still get to go to restaurants and everything, and it's amazing. So.
But with all that experience, you have like an insider's perspective
Yes.
at some restaurants and buffets, and
Yes.
like, they're doing great and what they're probably doing.
Yeah,
terribly.
buffets are so hard. One, I'm going to throw this out there right away. This is a hot. I don't even like buffets. I don't like to eat that much in one sitting.
YouTube loves it.
YouTube loves it.
Yeah,
They love
gotta do
buffets.
it.
I don't feel that I'm going to get my money's worth doing that. I would rather have smaller portions that I can sample a lot of things in a very fancy environment than to like go up and grab big piles and eat it. But people love them. Now, there's a bunch of misconceptions about mine. One is that they think I'm taking only one bite of everything and throwing the rest away. That's not true. My husband and I both pay. I'm the only one who gets plates, and then we eat from the plates. Or two, they think I'm eating all of that food myself. I can't believe you're eating. And I'm like, have you seen some of these power eaters? They're tiny women. That's not that unusual, but I'm not eating all that by myself. I can't. I'm not a power eater. I do not have that gift. But, like, I wish. That's awesome. But, like, no, really tiny women do that. But I'm not eating all of it, and I'm not wasting it either. Like, we're sharing it. They think that he, like, doesn't eat. I don't know. But
It's weird how they make the connections.
people
way.
see, oh my gosh, Starbucks Cupcake. We call it Starbucks Cupcake. So we filmed an intro for the Planet Hollywood. It's one of my favorite intros. It was so embarrassing because I get up off the sidewalk and I'm dancing. We did it at like 6 in the morning, hoping no one would see us. That did not work. But I get up and I'm dancing to no music, and then he put the music in after, and it's so cute. But I take a drink of my Starbucks cup and set it down and go up and dance, and then I go in the door, and it cuts to me being in the room. Everyone thought I left my coffee cup on the sidewalk. Now, if you've been in Las Vegas, surely you've seen all the beer cans just everywhere. But that cup on that, I can't believe you littered. I can't believe you littered like that. Dang, you litter. That is awful. And I'm like, it was still full of coffee. We shot the shot. And then we like, I still had coffee in it. Coffee gate, man. Starbucks gate. It at the time, that was our scandal. We were just like, I didn't litter. I hate littering. That's awful. I didn't litter. But like every comment on that video, it helped the video expand its reach. That's
I'm
one
sure.
thing. That's one thing. I know a video is going to do really well based on if we get mean comments right off the gate. Isn't that crazy? Or like a negative. The more negative comments we get right away tells me the video is going to do super well. Because it doesn't matter if your comment's mean. You're still engaging with the video. So anytime someone leaves a bad comment, just know you're helping that creator by leaving a mean comment. The worst thing you can do for a creator is not engage with their content. So, it's always like, thank you for the comment. So every littering comment, thank you for the comment. My husband's like, he was like, good, let him keep commenting that. You didn't litter, let him think you littered. And I'm like, but I didn't litter. Like, the Lorax is going to be so disappointed in me. Like, I didn't. But, like, why defend myself to 100,000 people? There's no point. So
Can't.
It's funny, though, how that
is
works.
funny.
It just, if the comments are getting to, it tells me that it's not your normal audience. Because our normal audience knows us. They know what respectable people we are. So if you're getting weird comments, these are people that don't normally see you. That means you made it to somebody else's page, and that's a good place to be.
Definitely.
So.
Definitely. Wow. So we're going to kind of wrap this up with 10 rapid fire questions.
Oh, boy.
First,
We know I'm so good at rapid fire.
well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll be 5. Okay, one couple, 3 nights in Vegas with $100 per night dinner budget total. What's your call off the top of your head for the 3 restaurants?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Best Friend at Park MGM.
Great.
Super Frico at the Cosmopolitan.
Really fun.
Oh, man. Okay. And then, honestly, okay, so this is just going to depend on your taste, but I would just straight up also go to the Teke bar in the Cosmopolitan. I love to sit there and drink a Sapporo and have hand rolls.
Yep.
And you're just kind of in the chaos. And, like, you could get, like, the 3 or 4 hand roll special thing for, like, $25, I think, and then your beer, like, you're set. It's fun. I really like that. But that one, the other 2 are very much more of an experience restaurant for a really good price point. So, otherwise, downtown. And there's a lot of good places downtown you could go to with a small budget. So, pretty much anywhere you went downtown with $100, I think you would be okay.
Yeah, but that's a great 3. Nice variety for 3 nights.
Yeah.
What's your take on the current state of player rewards?
Yeah. MGM changed theirs really recently, and we were pretty high tier at MGM. It was the first place we stayed, and we kind of were really loyal to that. It was also genius because then in 2020, Caesars put out a tier matching, and I had never had a card with them, and so I got to be diamond at Caesars for a year, and that's how we did almost all of those hotels for free, which was crucial. But I realized right away, like, Caesars is nearly impossible to maintain that status. You have to gamble a lot. And MGM just changed their rewards to really reflect that. It's heavily for gamblers. And a lot of people aren't huge gamblers anymore. This is a gambling town, and there are the gamblers. And I do feel really bad for those OGs that gambled like they did back in the day, because they're not getting treated the same, because things have really changed. And unfortunately, like, our generations and people in their 20s, like, they're more frugal, and they don't see the value in gambling. And I get it. It's just for entertainment. And if you don't find that entertaining, like, I get it. You're not going to win. You need to know that up front. You might once or twice, but you're not going to win every time. I have noticed MGM has changed it quite a bit. It is a lot harder. We used to be able to get our points a lot from dining. And now they've really lowered that. So it's primarily gambling. And they've also changed how the gambling works as well. We used to be quick, where we would throw, 1,000 in real fast. But now they want you time in the casino as well. And so they want those people that putts in the casino all day. And what's even more, I have friends here that travel, and they're a really high tier level. And they said their best advice that their host told them: if the last day you are not gambling all day because you're leaving, don't gamble at all, because they average your days together.
That's right. Yeah.
So if your last day you're only gambling for 2 or 3 hours, that hurts your average. You're better off doing 3 solid days where you gamble a ton, and then for 2 days not gamble at all, than to just kind of like gamble here and there, which is how we did it, because you're more likely to keep your money that way. But they know that, and that's why they've changed it. So you have to be really mindful with tier credits. It is worth it. If you are using your card and you gamble some, you're going to get good rewards on hotels. Be loyal to one brand, one company, and you will get rewards. So it is worth it.
So if someone had zero record of play and they want to sign up for a player's card, MGM would be your choice, you'd say? Or is Station better? I don't know.
I don't think any... It's hard to say. We get treated really well with Resorts World rewards. Mm-hmm. Here's what I would say. What hotel do you want to stay in? Pick that one. Then work your way up really high in that one and wait for the others to tier match. And then tier match.
Great.
Do not open another one with another place unless you're gambling equally there.
Okay. What's been your experience meeting other Vegas creators and all that?
Yeah, for the most part, it's funny. I said this once and someone thought this was so funny. I was like, I just treat all the other YouTubers and stuff like their coworkers, because we're all doing the same job. Someone thought that was so funny, and I was like, well, we're doing the same work, and you're going to see them at work functions. So I treat them all like coworkers. Polite, whatever. We never did a ton of collabing in the beginning, but now that you knew my schedule the way I explained it, I think that kind of tells you why. We never reached out to anyone to collab. We just didn't have the time. If someone asked us, we would try to find the time, and I would try to squeeze it in. But I think we kind of just developed this reputation of like really gung-ho and not like trying to like take our time. Everybody else was also mostly locals. So we didn't do a ton of collaborating. We hang out with Show Me Vegas when they're in town. Those guys are great. We love Gambling Granny when she's in town. She's always at El Cortez, and we always gamble with her. She plays the Dragon Links, and like she taught us how to play the Dragon Link, because you like switch around your denoms and you'll hit. It's great. We love Gambling Granny. We have done some lives with Sin City Family. Those guys are awesome. So like everyone I've met is really nice, and we try to spend time with other people when we can. But we've always been so driven work focused wise, we never really stopped to form a how influencers kind of come together and they have these like influencer like cliques, if you will. It's a negative connotation, and I don't mean it that way, but just we never really like went into a clique, I guess I would say.
But I think that's the beauty of social media. You can just to do whatever you want.
It's just nice to keep friendly, happy. Anytime I see anyone, I'm always happy and friendly to see them. And I can just keep it like that. It's great. Like, it's just nice to be able to be like, hey, like, how are you doing? Good. How's your content going? Awesome. always happy to collab somebody if they asked. I mean, really, like we will try to make the time for it if we can.
Any dream collab?
So right now we're really heavy focusing on the slot channel. So if we were to do collabs, I would like to collab with Low Roller. He is the nicest guy on earth. Vegas Low Roller is the kindest guy. He's so nice. So is NG Slot. I met him. He was super nice. So I think on that channel, that could really spice things up because you guys can kind of like compete with each other and versus. And so that I think, otherwise, really the only person on YouTube that I would just like love to meet with my entire life is Jenna Marbles, but she's not on the internet anymore. I would cry if I met Jenna Marbles. I would.
Wow.
She is like the best person on earth in my opinion. Like I watched her videos every single Wednesday/Thursday. So if she ever comes back, my life is going to be like better by like 20-fold.
We'll see.
I love her.
That will be exciting. Your fans know you love Oscar's Steakhouse.
I do.
Give me your perfect order at main, side, dessert.
Oh God. Okay. Oscar's is so freaking good. So it's the sides that kill it. Me and my husband were actually just talking about if we could like take the different steakhouses in Vegas and put them together and like what we would pick and choose.
Oh.
So at Oscar's, they have the Goodman's Legacy cocktail. It's kind of like a champagne twist. It's got like just like a lemon drop inside champagne. It's delish. I love that. They also have a good old fashioned. For our appetizer, we almost always get oysters when they're in season, but they do have really good salads. They have this beet salad. I think it's Bobby's beet salad. That's really excellent as well. The crab cakes are fantastic. They're really all crab meat, just all crab meat. They're so good. And then for the main, I typically get the filet, but my husband loves the rib cap. And Bobby told him, he's like, get it medium, which people love to flex. Listen, coming from a chef, if it's not well done, it's valid. Okay? Okay. Are we done here? Like, if one more person comes at him for eating it medium, that's completely acceptable way to eat your meat. But then on the other end, people are like, your steak's raw. I'm like, yeah, I like it real red. Okay? Where do you people want this steak done? But everything but well done is valid. If you're ordering the well done, they're giving you the steak that they messed up from someone else. Just so you know, that's been sitting. Just might want to try it a little less done.
I can attest to that. I've been in the kitchen.
Yep. They put that to the side and they wait for someone to order well done, and then you're getting the old steak. So just don't do that. But medium is acceptable. But the rib cap medium, delicious. Their sides are so freaking killer. Make sure you have room. Bring 4 people. The mushrooms are bourbon glazed mushrooms. They are like sour and sweet, and they're just perfect. The cream corn, which they don't even actually use dairy, they like spread it real thin and wait for it to like caramelize on the bottom of the pan, and then they scrape it, and it gives that kind of like cornbread texture to their cream corn. It's insane. It's so good. And their Brussels sprouts are buck wild delicious. My husband hates Brussels sprouts. He loves them. He loves them. They're so good. I cannot give you a dessert recommendation. I've never made it to dessert.
Okay.
Never
All
once
right.
have we
All
made
right.
it to dessert.
Just get another side. Get another app.
Right? I've heard they're all great, but one day we will get it, but we just hate wasting food. So if we can't make it, we don't make it.
I downloaded the My Vegas app thanks to your
Yes.
videos. Is this the greatest Vegas phone app ever, or is there one that's better?
Okay, so in terms of getting coupons, this used to be the mecca. I had gotten Beatles Love tickets for free on there, and we used to be able to get buy one, get one pool cocktails, those $30 ones. So we would come, and all of us would play, and then we would keep ordering those, and then just get another cup, and we would drink all day at the pool for half price. It was fantastic.
Phenomenal.
They've changed it a lot. And it used to be we'd get the same breakfast deal, and you could order the same thing as many times as you wanted. They've changed it a lot. There's still excellent deals on there. Watch out, though, because, there's premium rewards. I plan to do more content on this app because there's a lot of confusion. But there's premium rewards you can only get if you're staying at the hotel, and then there's rewards anyone can get. There's a lot of good drink deals. If you're looking to drink, there's a lot of ways to drink in Vegas for cheap. So don't be like me and keep buying the $18 cocktails. I'm still going to do it, but don't be like me. But like you can get cheap drinks. Like there's a way, and I think My Vegas is a great one for that. There's a lot of good coupons for restaurants, like buy one, get ones, and the buffets. Do not go to an MGM buffet and pay full price for that. Don't do it. Just use the app.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of
But
people know that.
I will say, if you guys know Julian and the Vegas Near Me app that they just launched, that seems like that's going to be really great for people traveling. It gives you like directions from like where you are. They're working with different hotels to do like coupons for people, and so they're really working on that app to make it like helpful for people that are like passionate about Vegas. So I would check out the Vegas Near Me app. That's totally free as well. So I think for tourists coming in, that could really be helpful.
What's the weirdest superstition you've ever witnessed or heard about?
Oh man, okay, gambling. So all of the gambling superstitions are hilarious. I did a video on how to win at slot machines. That is such clickbait, and I'm so sorry, but it did really well. There is no way to make the slot machine pay you. There is none. I could have had that video be 1 minute long. It's random. End video. But I had to go through all of them, and when you gamble a lot, you start to see why. Our brains love patterns, and we want to find patterns. We naturally want to categorize and pattern things. And when we're playing something random, our brain is going to try to tell us it's not random. So like when you pull the card out and now you're winning. Oh, I wasn't using my player's card and now I'm winning. It's a coincidence, but in your head it's not. And same for like, I switched bet levels and I won. It's a coincidence, but in your brain it's not. And so anything on a slot machine, I won because I did this or this or this. No, the machine was ready to pay you. Period. That video could have been that long. The machine was ready to pay and it paid. There's no hot and cold machines. They can't adjust the machines around no matter how much we think they can, because sometimes it seems like they're just not paying. It's just the luck of the draw. So it's all luck. You cannot force a slot machine to pay you. You can change denomination, and theoretically, some denominations pay better than other denominations, supposedly. But that doesn't mean it's going to directly correlate to you winning. So that's any slot machine myth. It's all bogus. There's no such thing.
Nothing don't do the machine by the exit, all this stuff.
Nope, that's that's bunk. And I have slot machines I don't like, and I have slot machines that there is volatility. There are slot machines that are volatile, where like they're really hard to hit on. The more volatile the game, the more likely the game's gonna pay a ton when it does get to the bonus. In our experience, that never happens. We're extremely unlucky. If you wanna watch a slot channel where they're not lucky, watch us, because like, oh my gosh, we see other people and we're like, how are they winning like that? That is not our experience, but it's real. So it's like you get to see what real slot play looks like. It's random. So some machines I like better than others. Some I think hit better than others. The old school 3-reel games, the ones that look real boring, where there's only 3 reels, there's no bonus, there's no nothing, those are likely to pay you more because there's less bells and whistles. So you're just going to get more money back as you play. So those are typically less volatile. But that's about it. There's really no secret.
Good to know. Thanks for debunking that. And then, as locals now, what are 2 favorite go-to spots for you and Mr. Ruby for a casual night or a takeout? What do you guys like?
Oh gosh. I wish we had that. Like I said, I feel like our job involves going to so many different spots that we kind of don't have a spot as of yet, because we're constantly going to places. Are we going to eat a Casino Royale hot dog almost every time we are on strip? Probably. Like, we literally had one the other day. We're like, you know where we can go and get a $3 hot dog? Casino Royale. We always take family and friends to the Mayfair Supper Club or to Lago. Yeah. We love those. I'm obsessed with the Arts District. I'm obsessed with it. I love the Arts District so much. Have you been to the Silver Stamp?
I haven't been to the Silver Stamp yet.
If you want to know what it feels like to be in the Midwest, just go inside the Silver Stamp. There is a magic fortune chicken, and it tells you your future. There is a beer can wall. It's all like that 70s basement wood paneling all over. It is the Midwest. We went in there in February, and it snowed. And I was like, I'm in Wisconsin. Like, this is, and they have an excellent beer list. Excellent beer list. That place rocks. I love the Silver Stamp. So, like, the Arts District in general is just like, I love going down there. That's one of the places that, like, it doesn't really feel like we're working as much when we're there. It's just the coolest vibe ever.
All right, I'll go check that out next time.
You got to go to Silver Stamp.
But I really appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So much great insight. And, everyone follow Travel Ruby on all the channels. And just really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was fun. I talked your ear off for, I don't know, an hour or whatever.
It was awesome. It was awesome. But till next week, see ya. All right.
Woo!
Thanks for tuning in to the Las Vegasville podcast. For more information about me and where I've been dining recently, check out my IG and TikTok at Las Vegas Phil. Feel free to text or leave me a voicemail about anything you want, 702-551-4445. Stay tuned as a new episode of the show debuts every Monday morning.